Welcome to the Women's National League Wrap for Series 20. We're going to hop right into this. Alanna, I'm going to come to you first. Cork City and Shelburne. Shelburne, obviously, their attack proved a bit too much for Cork City in the first half anyway, and they came out 3-1 winners. I suppose there's been a lot of talk over the last couple of weeks over Jamie Finn leaving, transferring over to Birmingham. Do you think that there's a player in there that can fill up the gap that she's going to leave behind? I know Alex Kavanagh put up a really good performance at the weekend, 2 great assists. Do you think she's going to be the one that's going to slot into that place?
Yeah, as you say, I mean, Jamie Finn is a massive loss to that Shells team. She was instrumental in their attack, but Alex Kavanagh was phenomenal at the weekend. That lofted ball into Emily Whelan to open the scoring, exceptional, and then the play through to Ciara Grant for their third of the day. She really did put on a administering showcase, I'd say, but maybe she is the answer to the conundrum they're facing there at the minute, but I don't think she's the lone one at that. I mean, everyone knows how good Jessica Zhu has been. She's been extraordinary for Shells this year, and I mean, both in playmaking and goal scoring capacity. So maybe she's one of the answers. I mean, there's Chloe Masaki in there as well, who just came back from that woeful injury, and I mean, I think when she did come back, it brought a smile to a lot of people's faces to see that she overcame that. Maybe not the oppositions though, but it is brilliant to see her in the Shells colours again recently.
Yeah, they're certainly not short of options anyway. They'll make it work in some way, shape or form. They'll make it work. And Emma, going over then to Galway and Bows, nothing really to separate the sides, a 0-0 draw. When you look at the league table, do you think Bows, as they've gone toe-to-toe with them in that game, can they go toe-to-toe with them in the table and be the team to challenge them most for the 5th spot?
I think so. I think they're the most similar teams in the way they play, and I suppose they've got so many young players on each side, which has been a testament to both teams, but they are that kind of similar team. And what we talked about week in, week out, that kind of middle of the table being so competitive, the likes of Bows, Athlone, Galway, and that's what makes these matches so exciting. You know, it's not all about those top teams in the table, and that's what people are really loving watching these matches for, is because they're so similar and because, you know, it's really going to be a good match each week. And even though it was scoreless, you know, some great football at the weekend.
Yeah, I think Bows have really come on leaps and bounds to be putting it up to Galway. And as you said, that end of the table is so interesting and so exciting because you can't call a single game. You never know which way it's going to go. Yeah. And it's just, yeah, it's great to have that battle down there as much as we have it at the top of the table as well. And speaking of the top of the table, we had a very highly anticipated match, Wexford Youths and Peamount, ending in a 1-1 draw. Nothing separates sides there either. Alanna, do you think that there was something missing from either side's attack, or was it great defending? Do you think there was anything that potentially could have helped either team edge the other out, or are they just kind of on par with each other at this stage?
Yeah, I think it is a fair statement to say that they are fairly on par. I mean, as you were talking about there are these kind of mini leagues amongst the greater WNL. Like obviously there's that top 3, DLR, we're kind of in it there for a bit and not so much anymore, but it is a difficult one because I'd say Wexford would have felt hard done by coming away from that one because they were the more attacking side, especially in the second half. And like obviously they were missing that creative outlet of captain Kylie Murphy. She was suspended for the game, but I mean I think she was a massive loss. But no more than the Reds, like Wexford do have a lot of vacancies in their first team that they are having to fill. I mean, like you have the likes of Aisling Frawley going overseas, and I mean Lynn McGree Grant and the injury and everything. Like I mean they are mounting up. But as I say, I think Peamount were probably lacking something too. I mean, whether it was the confidence that took a blow there after the Champions League last week. Personally, I was gutted that they didn't actually get to play that FC night game because I think it really would have been a massive game for them and a good one at that. I think it would have gave them a boost. But if they can get the shooting boots back on Eleanor Ryan Doyle, which we all know she has with 16 goals this season, perhaps that'd be the answer, because I mean, it was a massive game with a lot of gravity to it, but they only have another one coming next up in the WNL, another big one with Shelburne. So I mean, they'll have to rise to that. But as we all know, we have the FAI Cup before then, so maybe they'll get in some vital confidence in that one.
Yeah, it kind of seems that maybe since they had that loss against Shelburne, their confidence hasn't been the same as it was at the start of the season. So it'll be interesting to see over the next couple of weeks what happens there, because that top of the table is still so open. I mean, Peamount have the game in hand, but we're still talking about them as if they're out of the race or something. But no, yeah, it'll be definitely interesting to see what happens over the next couple of weeks. And then finally, we had Athlone Town edging out Treaty United 2-1. It's always a close game when it comes to these two. Emma, I think Athlone have had so many games where they've nearly clinched them, just nearly. And this one, they came away with the win, only their second win of the season. Do you think they deserved it in the end? Do you think they deserve to be having more points on the table?
Absolutely. You know, as you said, there's been some frustrating games for both sides, Treaty and Athlone, but Athlone with some fresh feet now. Chloe Flynn, after coming from Bowes, and such an experienced player after playing over in the States too, you know, and sorry, I've lost my pen. She's fantastic, and look, a testament to the team for coming out on top of Treaty. Although the bottom of the table, again, very similar sides, so making it competitive, and I do think Athlone did deserve to come out on top at the end of that game.
And last question for you both, Alanna, I'll come to you first. What young player has impressed you the most so far this season?
Yeah, I think there's kind of a world of options available there for that one, because as we've seen on Saturday, Clancy has been just superb for Wexford Youths throughout the course of the season, and in that game, I like her fancy footwork, as everyone was remarking on, but also that kind of box-to-box dogged effort she puts in every match. I think she's just the right cog in their machine to keep them ticking over, and maybe doesn't get the credit she always deserves, because that is a thankless role, as we all know, but she really does run that midfield. Apart from her, I think there are obviously more contenders. I mean, Maureen Devaney has been noteworthy for Athlone, and Kate Slevin in there for Galway, Zoo, as before mentioned, and Slattery, who of course is always in flying form for Treaty United. So I think there are plenty of fantastic young players in the league, and it is fantastic to see them doing it on the WNL stage.
And Emma, how about you? Who's impressed?
Yeah, Alanna touched there, but Janice Slattery, I don't think you can overlook her talent. She puts on a masterclass of football every time she takes to the pitch. I suppose elsewhere, Aoife Brophy at DLR Waves, I think, is an underrated player. She's just a powerhouse for the full match every week in, week out. I know she picked up a few injuries, but she was fantastic. And then at Bowes in the goals, she stepped in the middle of the season as Courtney Mcguire. I think she's fantastic, and I think her teammates are in awe of her. The people that watch the matches are, and a huge testament to the Bowes goalkeeping coach Patriarchy for, you know, his efforts for working with Courtney to make such a talented player at only 19.
Yeah, all great picks there, and I mean, the future is bright within this league, and as these players get older, they're just going to get better and better. So it's great to see. But that is a wrap on Series 20. Obviously, we have FAI Cup action with our new sponsor, Vote.ie, coming up next weekend. And after that, we'll be back to Women's National League. But thanks, guys, for joining me again today, and I'll speak to you again soon.